Welcome back, everyone. Today is round 9 of the European Chess Championship, and I'm playing against, I think it's Ermitsch Magnus, or Ermitsch, I think it's Ermitsch, and he's from Germany. Fortunately, it's not Magnus Carlsen, but Magnus Emmerich. He's a pretty young guy, born in 2009 from Germany, and he has a rating of around 2400 now, so he's definitely talented working on chess. But I do have the white pieces today, which especially added to that makes me quite a big favorite. And yeah, I already did most of the preparation. I'm gonna go c4 today, just to surprise him also a little bit with move orders. So it's gonna be, I mean, c4 is very hard for him to expect, since in the last games I mostly went knight f3, d4, and sometimes e4. But yeah, I want to trick him a bit with move orders today, and there were many things I checked that could come, one of them being the Slav, where I had some idea, and the other one being the Catalan, which could come with this move order. But yeah, we'll see. The tournament is coming to the final stage. Only 3 more rounds to be played, and yeah, this is the stage that counts most. Qualification for the World Cup is still possible for me. If I win all of my last 3 games, I think it's more or less for sure. If I make 2.5 out of 3, it's also quite likely. But yeah, I think I shouldn't think about it that much. But still, it's like in the back of my head. So I'm gonna give my best today to win the game. It's just really important for me to get back to the top. And yeah, I'm just gonna take a little bit more rest now, maybe revise some of the lines a bit more. There's like 45 more minutes until the game starts, so yeah, I just want to be fresh for the game today. And yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to say. And yeah, otherwise I will see you guys after the game in the recap. Welcome back, everyone, to today's recap. And yeah, it was a very tough day for me. It was quite an embarrassing game. I was winning from the start of the game, basically, after move 20 or so. And yeah, it was just a clear exchange up. And then in the end, for some reason, couldn't manage to win. And I was actually like close to just saying, okay, today I will just go to sleep, basically. But I made a promise to myself, and I made a promise to you guys to make a recap every day. So even though it's yeah, quite painful to see the game again, I just don't want you guys to not have a recap today. And yeah, let's jump right in. So I had the white pieces and started with c4. My opponent went for the Catalan, which I kind of expected. And here, after d takes c4, queen c2, he went for this modern line with b5. I am mostly prepared for a6, a4, bishop d7, and this very classical line right here. But he went b5, and after a4, b4, the other line being bishop b7, a takes b5, a6, which also has a very solid reputation. This line with b4 tends to be very sharp. I think the main move is knight fd2. And after knight d5, I think knight takes c4, c5, there is some mess here, but I prepared this solid sideline a couple of rounds ago with knight bd2. And the idea is just to recapture with the knight on c4. He went bishop b7. Actually, here he already started thinking, which was very shocking to me, because knight bd2 is one of the most serious moves, and yeah, he just didn't know it, which was yeah, very surprising to me. He went bishop b7 after 15 minutes of thinking, knight takes c4, and knight bd7 already an inaccuracy. The main move, as far as I recall, was bishop e4, when queen d2, I think, is the move, c5, d takes c5, and something like this. I think knight bd7 is the move when black holds with accurate play, but yeah, it's not so easy for black. But he went for knight bd7, and now after bishop f4, bishop e4, I have this c1 square for the queen. Maybe this is actually not even the best continuation for white, is bishop f4. I was also calculating knight e5, but after bishop g2, king g2, knight takes e5, d takes e5, queen d5, check. I was thinking about f3 or king g1, but here after knight d7, I couldn't really see how to proceed. After rook d1, queen c6, if I manage to consolidate everything, I'm I'm probably much better because I have this nice square on c4, but I didn't see how to do so in the game. But bishop f4 was logical, bishop e4, queen c1, and knight d5. He played if c5 now. I thought I have knight d6 when he has some issues on this diagonal. If I manage to get the bishop, then my bishop on g2 will be very strong, and he cannot take because now the rook on f8 and the pawn on c5 are both attacked. So he went knight d5, knight fe5, and here he took on f4. Apparently it is still okay for black if he takes on g2, but after king g2 I didn't see what to do for him. Yeah, it's also worse for him. Knight takes e5 now, and after knight takes e5, something bishop d6 or so. But black has all these weak squares, so I was already very happy with my position here. But he took on f4 right away, which was a mistake. And yeah, here I already felt that my position has to be really, really good because I have this square on c6. He played knight b6, and here I took on b6, which is not the best, but still a good move. Knight c6 would have been even stronger, which I also saw during the game, but I somewhat underestimated it, or I thought that knight takes b6 is even better. The point is the queen is attacked on d8, and after queen d5, which is more or less forced, queen f3 is now the idea. And bishop on e7 is hanging, so queen takes f3, let's say, king takes f3, knight c4, and here something like, what was it, I think rook c1, when black probably has already some very concrete problems also. Maybe also the knight could, yeah, I have to go rook d1 because knight d2 is a threat. Rook fd1 even stronger, +1, it says rook c1 is also a good advantage. But yeah, I went for this. I also thought this has to be really good for me because my knight on c6 is just a monster. He went queen d7. Apparently queen d5 is better, but I didn't see how to proceed after queen f3. I think the computer wanted bishop d6 here. But even those endgames looked very unpleasant for him. Even though I don't have to take right away, maybe I go something like b3 first, and then I have ideas like rook c1, rook c4, maybe even picking up the pawn on b4. But he went queen d7, and now his position is just strategically completely lost. I have the knight on c6, and the pawn on b4 will sooner or later fall. Rook e8 and rook c1. And here he went for e5. I thought that f5 would be better during the game, just trying to launch something on the king side with g5 or so. I thought rook c4 and then just to pick up the pawn on b4 when, yeah, should also be very good for me, probably just winning. But he went e5, trying to break out, but after d5 he takes here, knight takes b4, I'm just a pawn up for basically nothing. Bishop d6, knight d5, rook e5, rook d1, and honestly, around here I thought that he would just resign. Pawn on c7 will fall, he cannot defend it in any way. He went rook f5, I went knight e7 check, and here, honestly, I thought he would resign. Because he has to take with the queen, and now queen f5, and I'm just like a full exchange up for just nothing. And just imagine I could not manage to win this position. It's just, I still cannot believe it. It's just like so easy. Black doesn't even have any tactics whatsoever. So yeah, it's just really, really frustrating. He took on e2. I just moved around a bit with my pieces. This, like, I was just too afraid or something. I just wanted to limit his counterplay. But limiting his counterplay would have been so easy if I just double my rooks on the e file and then exchange his one rook. I didn't do this for some reason. Just rook e1 here, rook e8, just exchange the rooks, and then it's just like a very simple technical win. Like, if he doesn't have the rook, it's, yeah. I have no idea why I didn't go for this. Instead, I went queen c3. Of course, all of this is also winning. I tried to make b4 work at some point. Yeah, here f2 was hanging, so queen f3, queen d7 back, rook e2. Again, very careful. Yeah, I wanted to move the rook from a dark square. Bishop d6, rook a2, trying to prepare b4, rook a8, rook c4 now, rook a5, queen c6. Again, I was repeating moves to make the time control. Rook e2 here, king g7, queen c6, queen f5, and now after a bit of shuffling, I finally went for b4 because I thought this is like my only winning plan here. Of course, it is not. Yeah, I could have exchanged rooks before. I can also at some point sacrifice on d6, which should also be winning in some cases. But I went for this, rook a2. Apparently queen c6 is stronger right away, but I wanted to prepare a5, queen g5 now. My opponent did defend really well, I have to say this. He went rook d5 now, b5 is probably better. When here I thought that it's quite likely that a 3 versus 3 would come, which is again a technical win. I was also calculating a5 here. I'm not sure if it's actually winning. Yeah, this is a bit of a mess. Yeah, queen c1, and if a7, what happens here? See it. Wow. Bishop g3 and black is winning all of a sudden. Oh, that's actually pretty, yeah. Rook h5 is there. Okay, insane. Probably I would have anyway went for this. But my opponent went rook d5, rook e4, h6, very strange move. Queen c3 check, bishop e5, and here I went for queen c4. I also saw f4 here. I thought this should also be winning. Yeah. I saw this here, and yeah, it's just... like everything is winning. I cannot even begin to say. F4, I also saw this, but I thought this was maybe not so easy to win, so I went queen c4. My opponent defended and defended. Queen c2, bishop f6 back, queen c4, c5. Also allowing this, probably not the best. Rook c6, yeah, just not allowing him to go c5. He got c5, and now all of a sudden it was not so easy anymore because he has the square on d4 for the bishop. Still, it's +3, so it shouldn't be that hard to win. I went rook c4 back, rook f5, and queen d3 now. And yeah, let's just go a couple of moves further. Again, rook e2, not the best move. Okay, rook g4 doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And here f4 is a horrible move. f4 is just absolutely terrible. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, the pawn on f2 is hanging sometimes, but it's just such a big weakness, f4. Like, I saw taking on d4 right away, and I thought this should be winning as well, but somehow I wasn't ready yet to admit that it's not going to be that easy to convert it anymore, because I just played it absolutely ridiculously. But here, now we have the same position like in the game, just the pawn is not on f4, which is like a horrible weakness. Here, it's probably still winning for me. I don't know if... yeah, if king h7, I guess I have rook e8 when this should be winning for me because I get to put the rook behind the pawn. So I think I saw rook f6 here, and of course, like compared to the game, this is like much better. I still thought it's not so simple to win this. It's also not there. 1.6 it says. Rook e4 apparently also not entirely obvious. I want to prepare rook f4, but queen a8, maybe just king g1 here. Yeah, f4 is just completely terrible. And yeah, now I realize that, I mean, my original idea was something to go rook c2, but now he just has rook f6, and his rook is coming in, rook e1, and all of a sudden my king is also very weak. So then I decided to take on d4, but now we have the same version, but my king is just super weak here. And honestly, I already wanted to be careful, like not to lose the game, because I could easily also blunder something. For example, here I was close to playing rook c2, but then I saw that queen b1 is there, and it already could go south. So yeah, he went for the exchange, and here I was already still getting some hopes here, but it's just a draw. I went queen b3, maybe queen c3 would have been a better try. Went queen b3, and now he has this perpetual idea with queen c5 always, if king a3, queen c5. And queen b4, queen e3 check, and the pawn on g3 is also hanging. So I went for this, gave the pawn queen f6, but still he has perpetual check, and I could not do anything. And here he claimed the repetition, I think. So yeah, I just have no words. I mean, this is like one of the most embarrassing moments of my chess career, I think, especially considering the tournament standings. I really had good chances to play for a good placement, and with this draw, everything somehow goes to hell. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, except for I'm just really frustrated. Somehow my career hasn't been going anywhere for quite a long time. It feels like, to me at least, and yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just like heartbreaking, and I know that I shouldn't give up, but it's hard in such situations to like keep going and to keep on being motivated. It's really hard, but I'll try my best. There are 2 more rounds, and yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's recap, even though it was a bit depressing. But yeah,
Anyway, thank you for watching. If you did like the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Take care and see you tomorrow.